Good morning, everybody. Another episode of the Keep Going podcast, Athletes Shining a Light on Mental Health. We're back to regular scheduled programming this week, Dave. It's an early morning out in Colorado. What's going on, Big Dave?
Oh, nothing much. Glad to be back here. Back on our regular schedule and talk about a little bit about mental health. And we got a special guest on here today.
I'm looking forward to it. Tyler Selvig is in the building representing Grove Street, the exceptional community. Tyler, what's going on, my man?
Nothing, man. Same old, same old. Appreciate you guys having me on today.
Always, man. Where are you coming out of? Where are you right now?
I'm in Lombard, bro. I moved out here in May, so I live with a roommate right now and kicking it. Not many complaints.
I love that, man. I appreciate you jumping on. I know it's a little bit early on a Sunday, so we do appreciate that. Talk about this, man. Ty, I've known you for a long time. I coached you. I watched you grow up. I watched you play, obviously, baseball, football, the whole nine. You reached out to us, man. Why'd you want to come on today?
Um, I think my story's kind of I don't know. I've been through a lot. I've been through a lot of schools, and my journey's a little different. Go to Elk Grove High School and what I had to do there and whatnot. I wanted to kind of shine a light on stuff that's never been heard, and that's all. See what I can do.
Yeah, that's a big thing. I mean, obviously, I grew up in a household where quarterback play was pretty prevalent with my brother growing up, Adam, obviously. Talk
Uh,
about your experience at Elk Grove and share your story, man. Let's dive right into it.
yeah, man. I mean, honestly, I looked up to Adam growing up. Big dog. Everyone would be like A bomb. And went to high school, man, and got the job my junior year. And it's kind of crazy. I never won a varsity game. I had the opportunity to have three different head coaches, and that was kind of a whirlwind experience as a 16-year-old. Trying to play some football and whatnot. I went 0-9 my junior year and 0-9 my senior year. But I met a lot of good guys and a lot of good kids, that loved the game. It was hard, it was just hard to get it going and get it rolling, but there's a lot of things that you can take away from that, or you can sit here and pout about, but I was blessed to be in that position, and I wouldn't take it I wouldn't do it if I could do it over again. I wouldn't change it.
Yeah, talk about that, Dave. And we'll go into this, Ty, as well. It's like, what do you do when you're on that crappy team, right? Per se, not a crappy group of guys, not a crappy group of coaches. You're just not playing well, Dave. We've been on those teams. I know we had a couple stretches at Rock Valley like that. What do you recommend for kids when you're going through that?
Yeah, I think it's really important to not get too far ahead of yourself and focus on what you can do on the day. At the end of the day, win or loss, winning's always a little bit better than losing, but
Oh, yeah.
I think you can learn a lot about the process of losing when you do lose, and it's really important for growth. How has that been a part of your growth process, Tyler, as going that 0-18 record?
You, you find out who you really are, dude. And I think going those ways and being like that, you kind of find yourself, and it tests you. It tests you in the game, tests you in life, and being on that field kind of for those 2 hours, every day at practice, kind of like all the outside problems went away, but obviously we had problems of winning and whatnot, but I think just like being with the guys and whatnot, I think it tested me early for sure. I've never been in that predicament. Growing up, we had a really good class of athletes in our group, with a couple of our guys and friends, but at that rate, you can only take at that point you can only take like lessons from that, and learn it and put it into the future and whatnot.
Yeah, I want to talk about that a little bit. Obviously, the side of not winning many games. Okay, that's one thing. But you go on and play in college. Talk about your journey as a freshman in college and kind of where it led to the man you are today.
So I moved out to California when I was 18, by myself and stuff like that. I was homesick for probably like 2 months, dude, to be real. Like calling my mom every night, hey, I want to come home. Like, this isn't for me. Like, she's like, no, just settle in. You're good. Like, same story every night, and went out to California and was around a lot of good athletes, dude. You're down in the LA area, Los Angeles was studs, dude. Like Gatorade Player of the Year, like bounce backs from Arizona State, and I'm over here and I'm over here never won a varsity football game, and I'm trying to compete for a spot, and it's a really eye-opening, you know, and that was a huge thing for me and whatnot. So I think that kind of matured me at a fast rate and a fast age, you know, and for the game itself, you know, and in life itself too, you know. And I yeah, dude, I ended up transferring up to another JUCO up there, and honestly didn't even start till week 5. Didn't even get the job till week 5. And I'm like, dude, what am I doing? You know, like I'm costing my parents a ton of money, like because they didn't have scholarships out there, you know. And I ended up getting my foot in the door and took over a game week 5 at halftime. We ended up coming back and winning. Um, Ended up going undefeated the rest of the way. Was named an All American. Put up kind of crazy numbers in 6 games, and then yeah, I mean, I kind of just took my opportunity and ran with it for sure.
Yeah, for athletes out there that I guess I would say are at the lowest of the low, to get to the highest of the high like you did as an All-American, as the guy that starts winning football games finally, what was that feeling like, and what do you accredit that to?
I think I look back at high school, you know, just being able to persevere and get through it, you know, and I think being at that level and like hearing my name called and all this was a blessing, you know. I think it came a long way from, you know, like absolutely high school homecoming games losing 34-0 and this and that, you know. And it's hard to go to school the next day for sure, you know. And all these kids and just the smack talk and all that, you know, it's kind of hard to put your head up and your chin out and go to your first period class and try to get your day going without these random kids talking smack, you know. And that was like the biggest thing for me to, and then to be able to have success at a JUCO level was the biggest thing for me, you know. And it just showed the story of that anyone really can do it, you know. And I don't care where you're from or who you are or whatnot, you know. I just, if you put your head down and you take your lessons, you take your success and whatnot, and you follow the path and put a lot of trust in God. I think I found a lot of my found myself a lot out there, you know. And even in the bad times and the good times, you know, I got really close with the man upstairs, and that was the biggest thing for me, you know. And just trusting him, and everything happens for a reason, and don't get overwhelmed, and just be where your feet are and enjoy the moment at the end of the day.
Amen, man. Obviously, big man of faith myself, and just staying process oriented, man. It's a journey. Go ahead, Dave.
So,
Yeah, I'm just hearing for anyone out there that may be struggling, it took you 3 years to win your first football game, and
yeah.
it takes time. It takes time. Nothing happens good overnight. For anyone out there that might be unsure, is there any advice you would give to anyone that is in that spot of thinking about giving up or just going through a hard time with their sport, not where they want to be?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. It happens more than you think, you know. And I would just say, just keep going. You know, I obviously, like, you can be in a bad time or a good time, you know, just enjoy the little things and enjoy the moment. And like everything happens for a reason, like I said, and just trust yourself, trust your reasoning, and trust your purpose. And at the end of the day, like, what's your why? Like, why are you doing this? Like, why did I go out to California to play football? Why am I doing this? You know, everyone's got to have a reasoning why, you know. And I would just say, just keep going. You know, it'll get better. I promise. You know, just got to put your head down and and grind. That's all it's going to take. You know.
And that's definitely something on the Keep Going podcast that we can relate to, right, man? I think we've all had moments in time where you feel like, oh crap, this is the end of the road for me. And I had mine at Rockford. I told this story to a group of kids yesterday. I was sitting on the bus at Oakton, you know, and I'm sitting there going, I'm playing in 12 out of 55 games. And I've
Yeah.
never sat my entire life. And I remember calling my mom going, Suze, I'm going to go to ISU and just go party. Like, I remember the conversation. I remember her being like, stay the course, like maybe try Rockford, and where I ended up and changed my entire life. I think it's an example, and it's advice to young athletes or guys and girls that are at jobs right now they don't love. Like, keep on keeping on. Keep putting yourself in those rooms. Good things will happen. Ty, talk about after JUCO, man. What goes on after that?
Yeah, I mean, I get all the recognition and all whatnot. You know, I was kind of unknown. You know, schools were reaching out. I mean, I got my first Division 1 offer, and I'll never forget it, dude. I was at my apartment playing Fortnite, and I get a
Yep.
call. I get a random call. Like at that point, you got to answer all your phones. You can't, And I was on the phone with the, Coach Gabe from Robert Morris out in Pittsburgh, and we were talking. He's like, "We want to offer you a full scholarship," and I was kind of in shock. I'm like, really? You know, um, and like I got off the phone call, and I honestly like instantly started bawling my eyes out. I called mom and I'm like, Mom, like we did it. Like we like all this crap we've been through and all this stuff, I got free schooling and we're gonna make it happen. It's like that's the biggest thing. And that was the biggest reward I've ever there's nothing in this world that felt better, just getting off a phone call with the coach. And so I took a visit out there and I loved it. It was so nice, really cool. They flew me out, whatnot. And I had another year at JUCO, so I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, let me think, like I'm playing at my prime right now. I'm coming off a really good season. I do I take a risk and do I come back and try to ball out again and get bigger offers, or do I take the offer and go? Unfortunately, COVID happened, so COVID shut everything down. It was a whole ordeal with that. I obviously they obviously like had to do something with their money, and stuff like that. And so I'm like, dang, like I don't know, I don't know what to do. And then I was actually at my dad's crib, up in Sleepy Hollow in Elgin one night. Like this is probably 6 months later, and my phone rings, and I was talking to this guy for like 2 minutes. Didn't know who he was. Had no idea. I didn't want to stop the phone call. Hey, like, who is this? He goes, "You know who this is?" I'm like, "No, I have no idea who this is." He goes, "It's Bobby Petrino from Missouri State. We want to offer you a full scholarship to come down here in 3 weeks to uh to start for the starting job." And he had to say hello after that to make sure I was still on the phone. It was a whirlwind of events. And obviously COVID happened, and then they pushed my signing day back a semester, and I'm like, I couldn't do that. So then I ended up going back to Eastern, ended up bouncing at Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, man. You want to talk about a whirlwind of emotions. I was coaching during that time. Dave, you were playing during that time.
Yep.
You could definitely relate, huh?
Yeah, the recruiting process for everyone in 2020, it was it was hard. It was hard for everyone. They were pulling scholarships left and right, run out of money. Fifth years were coming back. Nothing was guaranteed for
Oh,
anyone out there. And what school you did pick, you were very uncertain because guys were coming back after that 2020 season because they want
Right,
one more year, and
right.
your spot's never guaranteed.
no. And like the
No,
craziest thing, like just hearing and then I'm like I'll never forget, dude. It's like he offered me, and then I'm like, obviously I can't. Like I'm gonna see what happens with this COVID thing. And then I was in my dad's hot tub and just scrolling through Twitter one day, and there was a NCAA like tweeted something about like giving fifth years and like another year back, and I'm like now what? Like what? How is that going to shake up? Like how are you going to have your stud high school kids come out, and like how is this going to shake up? It's never happened in history, and you expect kids to come play and like act like everything's okay when you have 6 different age groups on your college roster. Like it's insane, or 5 different ages, whatever it is. It's insane. And it was just, yeah, COVID was absolutely insane.
yeah, I gotta ask you this. How does this end? Like, how did football end for you? Like, you've been to the highs, the lowest of the lows, everywhere in between, offers, Division One, JUCO, bounce, like everything. How did this end as a player for you?
Yeah, so I ended up going to Eastern for during the COVID year, and at the end of the year, I kind of got there late. Played some spring ball, was on some scout team, and actually played pretty well. I thought I played pretty well. Had some good film and whatnot. Hit the portal. Hey, I had a meeting with the end of the with Coach Cushing. He's a Texas A&M line coach now, and we had a meeting, and he meets with all your players at the end of the year and see what's best and whatnot. And he's like, "We want you to play receiver." I'm like, "Damn." I mean, I'm a tall kid. I could jump. I got hands, and I get that. I respect that, And but I'm like, no. Like, I'm not doing that. Like, I've been through literally everything in this entire world, to be at this level right now, and I'm not gonna give it up to go play receiver. It's not happening. Like, so that I went to go play receiver for a couple weeks, and then I hit the portal. And then I hit the portal, and the next morning I woke up to like 16 texts from different schools, like, I don't know, Illinois State, South Dakota, a couple big schools, and a couple like solid D2 programs like Mankato and all that, and um, I was like, I don't know what to do, like I was like, I'm gonna pack it up and be done, like I was just whirlwind mindset was just gassed, it was a lot, but South Dakota ended up offering me a scholarship when I was on vacation with a couple of my boys from Eastern Illinois on the beach. I'll never forget. I got a call and I committed on the phone. He's like, "All right, we got to be here by June 4th," and that was in 4 days. And I leave that day for vacation to go back home. And I'm like, so I got 3 days to pack all my stuff up and drive 8.5 hours to Vermilion, South Dakota, where I don't know a single soul. I'm like, bet,
Nope.
let's do it. So I go out there and talk about a top tier program, dude. Like, nothing against Eastern Illinois, but South Dakota's legit. The facilities are legit. And I obviously didn't get to be able to tour the school because of COVID, and it happened everything so fast. And just like getting to seeing everything and the dome and the locker room, like my jaw dropped. And it's like, I'm playing here, like, sweet, like, let's do it, and obviously things didn't shake up the way it was. They brought in a bounce back from Iowa State. That was legit. He's a starter there now, and at that rate, I was like, you know what? I play Division I football. Went to California to play JUCO ball. I've done a lot, and it's time for me to pack it up and get in the coaching game.
Yeah, man, I've definitely been there, and that's something that you can hang your hat on, man. You got to that Division I dream. You got to do what less than 1% of kids get to do, man.
Yeah,
And you should be proud of that, man. And now in the coaching game, are you still coaching now?
yeah. I'm at Viter with Robbie Gold right now.
Amazing. Amazing. And I think that's the beauty in it, man. Now you get to help those kids that went through that same struggle, the kids that went through that same grind. How do you feel like coaching's impact your everyday life now?
Dude, I love it. It's amazing. I wish I would have GA'd at like South Dakota or something like that, coach at the college level. But I coached at Niles West High School last year, and like their cultures and kids are totally different from any other school in the country with where kids are from and whatnot, and just seeing some of these kids and impacting these kids, dude. And like a lot of these kids don't come from a good home, like a
Right.
lot of kids
Yeah.
don't, and like a lot of kids live with their grandma or auntie or whatever, whatnot, and just to see these kids come out here for 2.5 hours every day after practice with a big smile on their face, running around, like that's the biggest joy in the world, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
That's why you do it. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, it's amazing to go from where you've gone and now you're impacting other people through your story. It just says something about you, your character, and who you are. So it's amazing.
100%. 100%. And Ty, I would ask you, what was the keep going moment in all this? Like, I know there's a lot to love here, a lot to fall back on and feel like, oh crap, we went through this. What was the keep going moment in all this?
Um, so my mom flew me out to California and got me all situated and stuff like that, and then I transferred up there by myself. It was only a 30-minute drive, so I transferred up there, and my mom always leaves notes, like I love you so much, like whatnot, like keep going, like. And I got up there, and it was the second team I was on, and I wasn't playing. It was week 3. I got in for like a 2-point conversion, got it, like ran it in. And I text my mom. I'm like, Mom, I'm like done. I don't really want to do this. She goes, No, when you get home, check your shoebox. There was a letter in the shoebox that said, just explaining how much she loves me and how proud of me she is and whatnot. And I think that was like the biggest thing for me, dude. Like just making mom proud. And like my mom's my best friend, and she's been to every single game. If she couldn't make it, she watches it on TV or whatnot, and that was like the biggest. All right, if I'm not gonna do it for myself, let me do it for my mom.
Yeah, man. That was good shit right there, dude. And being a mama's boy out here, Suze, obviously.
Yes.
I couldn't relate more. Watching my brother go through something similar. And I remember him calling my mom at St. Joe's and going, like, I can't do this. My mom being like, you could do this. Like, it just sometimes, this is for anybody, sometimes you just need someone that believes in you. And I think that's pretty powerful, man.
You just honestly, P, you just need a couple guys in your corner, a couple people in your corner, and that's it. Like there's a saying I kind of live by, not really live by, but I'd rather have three bad dudes in my corner than 1,000 people. That's kind of how it is. I think I got my mom in my corner, my pops in my corner, and I got a couple good buddies, and that's all you need, man. Like that's it. And I think keep your head on a swivel and enjoy the process and live in the moment. That's the biggest thing. And life's not fair, bro. I'll be the first one to tell you that. But if we could sit here and sit back and enjoy the moments like I am this morning with you guys and enjoy the hard times, and you can love the good times, because you enjoyed being at rock bottom.
Yeah, man. I could tell you're enjoying this morning, man.
Love it, man. I appreciate you guys.
Always. I appreciate you, man. All right, let's go into questions, Big Dave. We're back to routine. You asked the first one, brother.
Yeah. For someone that's been through a lot, as yourself, a lot of decisions to make over the course of 5 years when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. What advice would you give to someone that's in that position that's unsure of making a decision, uncertain?
There's a reason why you're there, you know. Um, God's got a plan for everyone in this world, and I wouldn't question it. I mean, if you're feeling out and stuff like that, just reach out to someone close or reach out to someone that's been in the same position as you, and I've had the opportunity to work with a tremendous amount of athletes like DK Metcalf and all these guys, and just hearing their story and whatnot. Like they're not perfect, dude. Like Metcalf's not perfect. Like I worked out with Andy Isabella from the Bills. Like they called him short. Everyone's going through something. It's just a matter of how you embrace it and how you accept your role in what you're doing and keep going. And even when you feel down and out or you're upset or whatnot, like it's a blessing to be where you're at. Any kid would love to strap the helmet on one more time and play the ball. And just put your head down and grind and accept everything that comes your way because it's going to be good and it's going to be bad. But you have to look at it as life lessons and something you can use in the future. And how you attack problems like that.
Yeah, man. I love that, man. I obviously come from a quarterback household. I was a quarterback growing up. I just never grew. Adam
Yeah.
was a quarterback, obviously, growing up. We're a quarterback household. Advice for a kid that's putting the pads on, trying to be QB1. One piece of advice for him.
Got to be strong minded. Got to be strong minded, dude. I mean, I'll never forget. Like we played Meadows in our homecoming game. I think it was my junior or senior. I couldn't remember, but I threw a pick, dude, and I absolutely got leveled. Like like a wake up moment, leveled, dude. Probably should have been a flag, but whatever. And I think, and then we played Rolling Meadows in high school basketball the next, like 4 months later, and they were chirping me the whole game. Every time I got on the ball, like 0 and 9, 0 and 9, 0 and 9, when I get the ball up the court. And the point being is, I think you need to have a strong mind, you know, be coachable, be a sponge, being able to let the bad things go and let the good things stay and accept everything that comes your way. And I think the biggest thing would be a sponge, dude. Connect with
Yeah.
as many people as you can, hear their story, train, whatever you need to do. But I think just being a sponge is the biggest advice I would give.
Yeah, I agree. Go ahead, Dan.
Yeah, that's good advice. Surround yourself with the right people too, and believe in yourself. Um,
100%.
Going off that, for um, what advice would you give to someone that's transitioning from their sport into the real world? That might be going through a little struggle there, or just unsure when you take off the cleats for the last time, what advice would you give?
I mean, enjoy it. I think as an athlete, like I think not saying anything bad about non-athletes, but I think we have an advantage of how we attack life versus non-people that don't. I think that just the way we look at stuff and how we attack things, just our schedule we're on and whatnot. And I think we already have an up on people that don't have that. But obviously it's going to be a huge change. I know that I got home from South Dakota and I got to work 2 weeks later, and I'm like, this is a huge change. It was hard. Like I think the first season watching football was the biggest thing for me. Like just being able to accept it. I'm on the couch now watching ball. But it's like how can I work on myself and how can I help the younger youth, and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is just being able to accept it, um, and then go thrive in what you thrive in throughout life, whether that's talking to people, being a salesperson, or whatnot, using your hands or anything like that. I would say to accept your role and it's okay to be upset. It's okay to break down. The amount of times I've cried because I miss ball, like it's okay. Like it's life. It's part of life, and it's okay to adjust and transition. Like they still got little leagues you can play with your boys there now and stuff like that. But I think just being able to accept everything that comes your way and using your past as an athlete to be able to put yourself above anybody that's not an athlete.
I think that's a beautiful send off today, boys. Tyler, I'd like to thank you, man, for taking time out of your day. Obviously, I've known you and your family and for a long time now, man. It's fun to watch you kind of grow and mature as a person. Um, it's not always like that, dude. Um, I was very similar to you, man. I was kind of a little shit back in the day. And you grow up, dude. You grow up, you learn from people. You have a mom that's just taking care of you. It's fun now to watch you be the man that you are. And I just appreciate your time today, man.
I can't appreciate you guys more, man. If you need anything else from me, Brian, I'd love to get back on here and talk or whatnot. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll be able to have a good week and a good Sunday.
Yeah, you as well, man. I think it's motivating for a lot of athletes and a lot of people in different walks of life to hear your different seasons and how you come on today sharing that you wouldn't change anything, man. And I think that was couldn't have been more authentic on your end. So I really appreciate it. And Tyler Selvig, QB1, he's a man of faith. He's a great son, a friend, teammate. We really appreciate you, man. Keep going.
Appreciate you guys, man.
Yes, sir.
Say it.